with us?
I'm with you. Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. Can you hear me?
Are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Thank you. Let's have you make your contribution or observation to the budget as presented by the Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the Deputy Governor, the Chief of Staff Commissioners, and every other stakeholders present at this Kaduna State Town Hall meeting on the 2021 draft budget. I'm grateful for the opportunity I've been given to participate in it, and it's a wonderful thing that citizens are being allowed to make useful contribution to the budget. However, we know the situation the whole world finds itself now with the COVID challenge. We know that the economy of the whole world is actually coming down. Kaduna is not exempted. Kaduna is still part of this system where the same issues are currently. But interestingly, when you look at the 2021 draft budget, the estimates, I'm focusing now on revenue. It has been projected that the revenue will be about 50 billion naira. When you compare it to 2020 revised estimates, 29 billion, I think I have to commend Kaduna State for moving from 29 billion to 50 billion as the estimated revenue. Again, it is excellent. It's a well thought out thing. But again, when you look at this revenue increment, the key source of this revenue increment is from Ministry of Finance and Kaduna State Internal Revenue Services. They account for the bulk of the increment from 29 to 50 billion we expect this year. And if you go further and analyze the data, the Excel data that was made available to the public, you know that the payee, that's the pay as you earn, has increased suddenly from 2.5 billion in 2020 to 12.8 billion. Of course, we all know the increment. Personally, I know the increment. Those of us from the University, Ahmad Bello University, we know the increment. My tax had gone from 6,000 naira to about 47,000 naira now. That's what I'm paying now as my tax. And I hope the state government will look at the heavy tax burden on some of us, considering the economic situation. But again, we are happy with what is going on in Kaduna, because when you go to Kaduna, Kaduna itself is like a construction site where you have projects going on everywhere. So the funds are actually being used in the right way. Even in Zaria, where there are some parts of Zaria, when you go to Zaria, the GRA, the Zaria city, the developments are taken, and these are the funds, revenue that are being used for this kind of development. So in my own view, the payee that had been earned, that had increased, it's a nice thing, and I really commend the state government for the effort it has made to improve its internally generated revenue. In fact, Kaduna State ranks as the 6th highest IGR generating state in Nigeria currently, even ahead of oil producing states like Akwa Ibom, Delta, and Co. Kaduna is ahead of even Kano State in terms of IGR. So it's a big kudos to Malam El-Rufai and his team. Again, and when you look at one or two comments, again, I need to draw the attention to. Look at the last year, there was an external grant for the malaria. If you check the budget summary, the summary receipt budget page of the Excel document, there was funding for malaria, but in 2021, in that you see that there is no funding. There is no funding for malaria control. If you look at it, I really want somebody to explain to me, when we know the issues of malaria, why suddenly the funding had been reduced. That's one of my thoughts. Again, if you look at the summary receipt page again, there's a place where you have the institutions where they expect the grants they're going to have from TED Fund and Co. Conspicuously absent, you notice that TED Fund is going to make intervention in KASU, Kaduna State University, is going to make intervention in College of Education. But TED Fund, you find out that TED Fund, I noticed there is simply no intervention in Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic. what is happening? Why is that fund not intervening in Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic? It is blank. But you have the same intervention taking place in Kasu, you have the same intervention taking place in College of Education. So for now, I think this is my thoughts. I'll make further comments later on as we go on. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Abdulaziz Yusuf from the academia. He is a professor of engineering. Thank you. We'll bring in the next panelist, who is Alhaji Musa Bello. He is chairman of Ama Pharmaceuticals. And as we go forward, I would also want all commissioners and also heads of MDAs to take note of some of these observations, as they will get to make a response and also clarify these issues for the panelists. Either they're here seated in the hall or they are participating virtually. We would want you to take note of these contributions and comments from the panelists. Do we have Alhaji Musa Bello from the organized private sector? Is he with us? Then we'll bring in Emmanuel Bonnet, Citizens Engagement. Bonnet, are you with us this morning? Emmanuel Bonnet, can we have you?
Okay, it's a pleasure to have me.
Okay, good morning, Bonnet. Welcome.
Okay, good morning. I would like to commend the state government for a town hall such as this. This is the first robust town hall meeting we have ever had, where everybody at the comfort of the house can draft budget. And then it's also coming at a time where our OGP action plan will be ending in the next 2 months in December. And amongst the key deliverables for the budget, which is the first commitment, the first milestone is that we have not to see how the CDC informs the budget. In the last 5 years or thereabout, I really will commend Kaduna State. I think that there is no state like Kaduna in terms of having citizens engagement, inform the budget at the local government level. We've been achieving that in the last 5 years. For the very first time, the CDC might inform the budget for the state, because there are state projects and there are local government as well as federal government budgets, projects. The second thing around the CDC, which is a very important thing to note, is that the CDC process needs to be institutionalized. Up until this morning, in all the 23 local governments, it was expected that local government chairmen will make available platforms for citizens to engage, but we still have local government chairmen that have not opened up their space. And this is technically because the CDC has not been institutionalized in the budget process. And I know the Honorable Commissioner for Planning and Budget has already written a letter through the Commissioner for Local Government and instructed them. A typical example is Giwa. But let me go straight to, again, to also thank for the platforms and the safe spaces that have been provided. The MTEF, during the MTEF engagement, again, we were happy that I'm not sure there's any state in Nigeria that has given citizens the opportunity to contribute in the MTEF of its state, which has come according to law before the budget. We were told that the budget, our estimates ranked around 170 billion. We're here seeing a proposed budget that has shot over 200 billion. We're trying to find out, when you look at a performance over the years, whether we are able to raise these funds to meet up the 200 billion that we have proposed, even though the MTEF was particularly clear, telling us where we are going to get those funds that we are going to inject in the budget. I'm looking at the budget that was presented by the Honorable Commissioner on behalf of the Governor. I would like to focus on two main critical sectors, or rather MDAs, the agric and youth development. I see those two particular sectors as being neglected, particularly because agriculture contributes 36% of our GDP. And here we have gotten the revised current statistics says 38% of our GDP. And GDP particularly and simply means money in the hands of the average citizen. So if we have a sector, a single sector contributing 38%, then we think that government should do everything within its power to make that sector a priority, because it has a potential of rejuvenating the economy and increasing our GDP. The second sector is the youth sector, which is youth development particularly. I have not seen one single naira in the whole of the 200 billion that has been allocated to young people. It might be argued that Works has money and they put youth, education has money and they do youth and all of that. I technically think that this is...
If you can hear me, I'm afraid your time is up.
Oh, okay. My time is up? Did I hear my time is up?
We're getting close to that, but let's have you round up.
Okay, so quickly, I think that we have the legislature. If you check, you would see that over 2.5 billion has been allocated to the legislature on the capital project. I think that we need to take some of those funds out and inject it in these two critical sectors, agric and youth development. Government can clear lands. Kaduna State government has identified 6 crops across the states that have comparative advantage. Let's go to where those crops are located and clear lands, and citizens, smallholder farmers can use those crops and then pay tax to government, and there'll be return in investment. It will create jobs. It will increase the income of the smallholder farmer, increase gender participation around women also farming in those communities, and then it will reduce insecurity because we are going to clear lands, and then greater involvement will also increase participation across board. Now, for youth development, 65% of our population are young people. I think we need to do some kind of needs assessments to get the database for gap skills, what unemployed people, underemployed people, young people, unemployable, and align them with the skills gap. That's the only way we can make meaningful. And in 30 seconds, I think we need to also provide some youth hubs that would have some knowledge and skills for employment in technology, garment factories, for instance. We can do it in all LGAs. I see 1.something billion to be given in the health sector for providing school uniforms. These are garments that, if we have these garments across board, young people can be sewing the school uniforms on a yearly basis, and then it will also give them jobs. So these are possibilities of things that we can do. We can do youth farms, for instance, across these areas, and then create youth-friendly centers. But because there are other people that would need to speak, we have articulated some of these points, and we're going to make the presentation to His Excellency and the Planning and Budget Commission, so that they can look into those areas. Even if they want us to tell them where to get this money, we have the capacity to tell them where these funds can come from. And I think that we can jointly make Kaduna State a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Bonnet, who is speaking on behalf of citizens. We would have the next panelist who will be representing the media, Joshua James. Joshua, good morning. Can we get linked to Joshua James? Okay, as we await Joshua James, we would revisit Alhaji Musa Bello if he is available. If he's not, then we get response from the heads of MDAs. Do we have Joshua? Okay, in the absence of the panelists being available to talk to us this morning, we would start getting responses to some of the issues raised in the budget. And we will start from the head of service. If he has any comments to make. If not, then we thank you. Then we'll get to the Commissioner Planning and Budget Commission who just stepped out. Okay, can we have the Commissioner for Health to respond to the comments? Okay, she's virtual. Commissioner for Health, if she's listening to us, can we have you make your comments based on the observation raised in the budget by citizens? Oh, okay. So yes, can we have you respond to the comments made?
Okay. So thank you very much. On behalf of the Commissioner of Health, just to respond to a few points raised for the health sector. About the health supplies. So the sector is well aware of this. In the budget defense, we actually discussed this with the Planning and Budget Commission. What we are trying to do is to ensure all the other external funding streams we have, like the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, like the Contributory Health Scheme, and then other line items in the budgets of the MDAs, like the Primary Healthcare Board, to support in commodity procurement, in drugs, and so on. So we can all together in the sector capitalize the Health Supplies Management Agency, not to completely depend on budget all the time. So we can make it a more independent and more autonomous agency. So for the malaria funding, I think it's not like the funding has stopped. It's just that we are in between change in circles of support from our major support donors, the Global Fund and other donor agencies. I know at the moment we're actually in the middle of the grant making process for an approved support of over $51 million to Nigeria as a whole, and from the Global Fund. And malaria is going to be a key component that will enjoy this support. I think basically these are the issues raised for the health sector. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I understand that the Honorable Commissioner for Health is joining us virtually. If we would have her also respond. Honorable Commissioner, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you, please. Yeah.
Commissioner for Health, I understand she is joining us virtually.
Yes. Let me just mention something about the malaria. We are not getting external funding for malaria, but as far as malaria is concerned, it is in the main budget. There's no problem on that at all. There are funds for malaria, and definitely we're going to work on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And some of the issues raised is IGR. If we'd have anyone respond from either the Z is online, okay, CAT IRS ZD. ZD, can you hear us? Are you with us? As we await ZD's participation, we would be looking at some of the issues as raised by Emmanuel Bonnet on agriculture. If you have any representative from the commissioner, thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you very much. I quite agree with Mr. Bonnet, and his concerns are well noted. Because in 2014, the African Union commemorated the Year of Agriculture and Food Security. Unfortunately, most African countries have not taken on the Malabo Declaration that our budget should be at least 10% to agriculture. Even at the federal level, that has not been. So I think it's only Rwanda that is allocating 6% to agriculture. So yes, why will it contribute 36% or even more in some countries to the GDP? I think maybe next year we should see a change in the focus that agriculture should form maybe a quarter of the budget. And certainly now agriculture is seen as a business. That is what we had maybe some 60 years ago when we had the granite pyramids, when we had cocoa, building our cocoa house in Ibadan. So hopefully when agriculture is seen as an economic activity, we should see an increase. So I would also urge the state government and all other governments to look at agriculture as top priority. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture. And still on Bonnet's comment and observation, here is an issue on youth development in the state. The Commissioner for Human Services respond to that.
Yes, thank you very much. This is an area where we also solicited for a budget line for the youth, so that at least, they can have also a way of coming together, contributing their quota to the development of Kaduna State. I don't know if our appeal has been met, because if there is no actually a single kobo for the youth, I don't know how they can be able to support their conferences, their parliaments, their contributions, and even have a database for our youth, either employed or unemployed, and how we can also create some interventions for them. So I believe that the youth also deserve to have a budget line in the 2021 budget. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
Certainly, we have a budget line for the youth in the Ministry for Health, Human Services. We also have a Ministry for Youth and Sports Development. And I also don't think that we have problem with that aspect in our budget. We've captured all the requests from the Ministry for Human Services, and I'm sure that you should just be preparing to make sure this thing is done properly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And that was the Commissioner Planning and Budget Commission making more clarification to the issues on youth. And that's how much we can take from the panelist session as we still on the interactive session. We would bring in
education, please. Education, please.
Okay, education.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was just one issue raised. I don't know why most of the issues raised were sent to my emails instead of sending it as you have requested. One issue that was raised by one of the panelists was that there was no TED fund intervention captured in the budget for Nuhu Mali, which I want to precisely tell you that 480 million naira TED fund intervention for Nuhu Mali for 2021 has been captured. And I want to refer the person to read the budget in details. Every year, all the 3 institutions are getting interventions from TED fund, and Nuhu Mali is not an exception. Permit me to respond to some of them that came in through my mails. One key issue I want to respond to is community engagement. I want to assure us in Kaduna State that this year, the budget has made adequate provision for us to engage the community, the public, on schools management. We are soon going to revive the school-based management committees at primary schools and secondary schools. We are also going to have the school management boards for the boarding schools and some select institutions. This is very critical for us to have the community participating in running these institutions, because government cannot do it alone. Without the communities protecting this investment in these institutions, we will be repeating cycles of budget, renovation, providing security, providing this and that, but another year you have to repeat the same thing because they are not protected. People are allowed to vandalize the institutions, particularly our youth that are very active in playing football in the pitches of our schools. So part of this budget for education that you have commended for having the highest and the lion's share will be invested in ensuring that we have a very robust and active members of the community in managing the schools. One thing also that came up that I want to respond to is the government investment in terms of promoting girl child education. I want to assure the communities that have sent in this question that we already have an application that have defined and determined areas where we need more schools for us to increase access. 80 more new schools will be built around the communities where access is an issue. These schools will be built very close or in the premise of a primary school where the access to education will be enhanced for girls, because we've understood that travels from one community to another for a girl to attend classes has been an issue. So we're trying to move the schools closer to the communities so that these girls will have more access. Let me assure those who sent the question to say that from the records we have, the annual school census that we have for 2019, girls are catching up. The difference is that girls enrollment is 48.5% against boys enrollment of 51.1%. So they are closing the rank, and I think we're achieving something. They will come up and catch up with the boys and surpass the boys. I would be happy if that happened. I also saw another question that is asking us, what are we doing about the huge out-of-school children we have? I want to assure the members of the public, the citizens of Kaduna State, to say that this budget of 2021 has also made adequate arrangement. You are very much aware of our quest to deal with the out-of-school children. It's not only issue of Almajiri, some people just think of, we're thinking of only Almajiri. No, there are more than that we have in the community. We have children that don't go to school. COVID-19 also have come to send some people permanently out of school because some of them may not want to go back to where they are schooling because of one reason or the other. We have a robust plan to deal with that, to take back the estimated 350,000 out-of-school children back to classes. The budget has made provision to support that. The rest, I think, is a general budget implementation issue dealing with teacher education. Already in the presentation, the Commissioner Planning and Budget has reiterated our resolve to provide quality education. And if you want to provide quality education, you must train teachers. This we are partnering with the ABU, Zaria, and other institutions to ensure that all teachers are trained and retrained. This is a continuous exercise. These are some of the few issues that came in, and I think I need to respond to them. And finally, maybe I may not have the opportunity to respond again. Questions of saying, are we going to open schools? yes, we are going to open schools as at when appropriate. We will certainly open schools as at when appropriate. I am a party, not only a party, I chaired the meeting of the Northern Commissioners of Education on that. And what we are critically looking for is the risk assessment indicators to see, is it safe for us to open our schools or not safe for us to open schools? Just because one state or two have opened, that will not tell us to say, okay, go and open. We must ensure that the life of our children are safe, and we are in a very comfortable position to ensure that children are safe when they go back to school. The announcement that is on air is for federal unity schools only. And we have the Federal Government College Kaduna and Federal Government Girls Secondary School in Zaria that are going to open on the 12th, not schools under the control of Kaduna State Government. And as soon as we determine this, we are done with this, we'll make a public announcement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Education, making this clarification to some of the questions that were sent to him by mail. And okay, I understand we have a message from the Commissioner for Health. Okay. If we would have that projected, it would be possible, if it's possible. Can we have the message projected or maybe passed across to me?
I think I can make that comment if you can hear me.
We're yet to get to quick Q&A at the moment.
Can you hear me? This is the
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will proceed with the panel session. And we still have one more panelist who joined very late, and I understand he should be given a chance to make comment. The man representing media, Joshua James, are you with us? Joshua James?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You came in quite late, so you were allotted just 2-3 minutes.
Oh my goodness, thank you very much. Let me stand on existing protocols and do that as quickly as I can. I just want to draw our attention. Thank you very much, Kaduna State Government, for giving citizens this opportunity. I'm looking at one of the budget item. Nutrition was allocated. Nutrition was allocated 188 million, and our concern from the media is that this is a very key issue in the budget as it affects human capital development in Kaduna State, especially as it concerns for children under 5, 188 million allocated for nutrition. Now, while it is true that you have other budget line items for nutrition, especially in the education sector, we are looking at this particular budget line item as it affects children under 5. When you take a look at it, you discover that you only have 103 naira per child. But according to the NHIS survey that was conducted, we were informed by that survey that about 21,000 naira is needed or is required to treat one malnourished child. But you are having 188 million. So we are also calling for an increased budgetary allocation in that aspect. Quickly, let me also move to education. We noticed that in a draft budget, there was no amount budgeted for M&E of infrastructural development in the Ministry of Education and other sectors of the ministry. Suffice to say that it was only Subeb who got 10.6 million naira allocation for M&E. We also look at the overhead allocation, and we asked that it should be reviewed for the Ministry of Education from 1.5 billion naira by an additional 1.1 billion naira, and that is as a result to match the projection of the education implementation sector implementation plan of the Kaduna State education policy. Now, according to that ESIP, we discovered that about 75% of primary schools in Kaduna State have insufficient seating. and that there is a plan by the Kaduna state government to reduce that to 70% in 2021, and also that 71% of schools are without water, and that the plan is to reduce this to 60% in 2021. Now, looking at the performance of the education sector in 2016, it was only 63.6%. In 2017, it was 34.46%. And in 2018, it was 44.7% of approved budgets in the education sectors that were implemented. So we believe that there is a need to actually improve on cash backing to the approved budget of the education sector that has an average of 47.53% performance annually, counting from 2016. This is basically what we observe. And we also observe that in the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, no amount was budgeted for motor fuel vehicle in the overhead costs. These are some of the points we noted out. Thank you very much for giving us, the media, this opportunity. Thank you.
All right, Joshua James, thank you very much. And Joshua James made certain observations concerning nutrition, health, and also majorly education. We would have the responsible chairman of this ministries respond after we've attended to the local government CDC, Community Development Charter champions, who are already seated and ready to engage us this morning. I understand we have citizens from Lere local government and headed by Babangida, and we have citizens from Chikun headed by Kulia Clement, and those from Jama'a headed by Godwin Kumai. They've organized themselves and they're part of us virtually, and their representative would be engaging us this morning. Can we have Babangida from Lere local government? Babangida, are you with us? Good morning, Babangida from Lere.
Good morning.
Glad to have you join us. Babangida, over to you.
Hello. Okay, good morning all. And all protocols to be observed. I am Babangida from the local. So with us are some of the problems we have in our local government, which is usually about the past projects.
Babangida, if you can hear me, you're not very audible. I would advise you use a headphone or an earpiece if you have one close by.
There are two mouthpieces close to you, so take away one.
Hello, what of now? Is that okay?
Okay, Babangida, you also have more than a device that are in use at the moment. Can you please make every other person switch off their devices rather, disconnect, so that you would be the only one having access to us at the moment?
Okay, what of now? Is that okay?
One more person is still connected. You should be the only one having access to us live. Or the person can leave the room. Babangida,
Hello?
If you are not ready, we would leave you and go to the next local government.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Babangida,
Hello, are you with me?
I am with you, but you're barely audible.
So can I go ahead now? Hello?
Okay, you can also send us a message via the Q&A section here on Zoom. Please drop your comments and your questions there. They'll be well treated, just in case you cannot converse with us virtually directly from where you are. Can we get linked to Kuliak Clement from Chikun Local Government? Kuliak Clement. The
Hello.
CDC champion from Chikun, are you with us? Kuliak Clement.
I'm with you, Didam. Are you with me too?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Good.
All right. We do not take for granted this opportunity given it to us to actually engage in this particular very important discussion. For Chikun local government, our first and major challenge is security. Because right now, as I'm talking to you, we have 8 wards out of the 12 wards in Chukwu local government that are terribly disturbed as far as security situations are concerned. Of course, of recent, we have a situation whereby in Kunai ward, for example, a teacher and 4 students were kidnapped until till this very moment. We don't really understand what is happening about their situation. Then again, of course, in one of our serving local government chairman.
You are experiencing some glitches
now
over there.
Don't really understand. This is actually. Hello?
Can you hear me, Clement?
Hello.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Good to have you back.
Can you hear me? I am
yes,
hearing
we
you.
can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, security and we're saying 8 wards in Chukwu local government. We're grappling with this challenge, which is actually truncating economic activities in the local government. So for this particular very important discussion, if we do not strengthen security, then all issues we are discussing here may not necessarily go down to the grassroots. So please, we want the government to note that Chukwu local government desperately needs measures that will curb the situation of kidnapping and killings that we're having. Next now is issues of roads and bridges, because it is also frustrating economic activities in the local government. From the farms, it's difficult to move farm produce to where they are supposed to be for commercial activities due to this challenge. Quite a number of wards are facing this challenge, which is also a very serious problem that we have. Issue of roads, innovations and expansions of our classrooms. Of course, we have challenge of furniture too in our schools. So just to cut the matter short, these are the basic challenges that we have, especially security. Once we have security taken care of, and then these other issues, then I think we are on the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kulia Clement from Chikun Local Government.
Thank you so much, too.
Let's have Godwin Kumai from Jemaah. Godwin Kumai. Are you with us, Godwin Kumai? Can we get linked to Jemaah?
Godwin is online.
Can we get Jemaah?
Hello, Godwin is online. Yeah, good. I stand on existing protocol.
Is Larry available now? Larry, are you there?
Yes. Such a wonderful effort by the government of Kaduna State to allow citizens to engage in budget processes like this. I'm speaking from Jemaah local government. as a Jamal CDC champion. And I've observed the budget. I've seen a lot of things and a lot of complaints, like one, for Jama urban city development, Kafancha urban city development. To this point, we have not really gotten anything in Jama'ah in regards to urban city development. As to regard the government development, city development renewal that has been going on. Also, Jama'ah local government is also one of the local government that has one of the largest farm agricultural one of the largest agricultural producing local government in Kaduna State. But it's unfortunate that our people still don't have access to some of to get market to their products to the market in regards to road development, rural agricultural development, and as well as electricity, to make sure they are on grid to help them in their activity. And in regards to local government administration, we have discovered that Jamal local government is having a lot of issue in terms of management of in terms of funding, because we have issues whereby the local government cannot even itself run activities that are supposed to be developmental, capital development activities to help its people because of its large scale in regards to area. I have lots more, and I have the health sector as well, which we are also having a lot of challenges here, that we have only one general hospital. The other rural development hospitals are also incapacitated in terms of staff strength. Where you go, you find out that we have only two main workers, and then the other ones are just chew. They come at will because they are not being paid as well. In regards to education, we can see in the budget that some of the activities, like in Kasu, Kafanchan campus, some projects have been completed, are still repeated in the budget. And we could see in College of Education, Gidanwaya, some road projects, some projects have been abandoned, as well as also College of Nursing here in Kafanchan. We have the College of Agric, which is also one of the aspects, which are one good aspect that in Samaru Kataf, that can also boost agricultural activities in Kaduna State, which budget Bonnet have explained why agriculture has been kept out of the budget, because a lot of items have been removed from the budget. We, with the less privileged, like those of the persons with disabilities, are also kept. We have a rehab center here in Jama'ah. We don't have programs that encourage these people to engage themselves in the community, to see that they help themselves to develop, to bring up the economic base of the local government. Third, lastly, in terms of local government revenue generation, nothing has been given to any local government in terms of the IGR, 10% IGR that is supposed to come in.
Jama'ah, I'm afraid I will have to let you go now for others to contribute.
And we also have security as well.
And I understand we have Giwa. Can we have Muhammad Zubair from Giwa? Muhammad Zubair. Muhammad Zubair from Giwa.
Okay. Good morning, sir. I am Muhammad Zubair Sambo from Giwa local government, all known as Sambo Khan.
All right, Muhammad Zubair from Giwa, you're welcome.
Yes, sir. Here with me are many people in the secretariat. We have the planning officer, which is co-worker, sir. Me, I would like to talk about the issue of insecurity that we are facing in your local government, sir. Hello?
We're here with you. If you could start all over.
Sir, your local government is the one of the major local government that has so many land that that produces enough crops. This year that we are suffering from lack of insecurity every day. Most of our farmers are unable to cultivate their farms. So we'd like to call the attention of government to intervene about this issue of insecurity, sir. Hello?
We're here with you.
Then secondly, sir, I would like to call the attention of the government to do what we call social investment. Hello?
Go ahead.
So, sir, thirdly, sir, we would like you to call attention of our local government chairman to do something about the CDC. Because this CDC are the one that used to help them in terms of capturing the work across, sir.
You are not very audible. For better reception, could you please disconnect your video to improve the quality of the audio from your end?
Okay, sir. Sir?
Good. It's much better.
Like I'm saying, sir, I would like you to call the attention of our local government chairman, because this CCDC, they are the people that used to go to the bush, to all across the whole world, to capture the prioritized need of the people. So please, I want you to call the attention of our chairman to do something, to call them, to put them in order, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Mohammed Zubair from Giwa. Your observations are well noted and they would be responded to by the responsible MDAs. We would now get responses from the commissioners and also heads of MDAs. And before we got to the local government CDC champions, we had Joshua James, who came late from media representing them, who raised issues around nutrition and education. So if I could have someone from the Ministry of Health first, before we get to education, can we have you respond to the issue of nutrition as raised by Joshua James before we get to education? Or we go to education first?
Let me just respond to that nutrition. What we have done in budget and planning and budget rather, is we have already released a 200 million to Minister of Finance, and I'm sure Finance have already cash back that release, all in preparation for nutrition come 2021. So we have actually captured in the budget, and it has even been released to the Finance Ministry for payment. So that aspect that he's talking about is actually taken care of in the budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, but let me quickly also respond to Babangida from Jama about urban renewal. Just to inform him that
Babangida is from Liri, rather.
Okay, who is from Jama'a?
Jama'a is Godwin.
Godwin from Jama'a. The site for urban renewal was handed over to 2 contractors yesterday in Kafanchan, and an advance payment of 3 billion has already been released to them. So he should just take note. By Monday, certainly he will see contractors taking charge of the roads in Kafanchan and environment. We are actually going to construct a dual carriageway from the railway crossing to Ongwaribi, and with street lights. I think that is good news for the people of that area, and it's something that they can't jubilate because they've never seen such a thing before. And all the roads in Kuantan are going to be constructed. So there's nothing for him to complain of.
Thank you. So, Godwin from Jama'ah, your concerns have been captured already in the budget. And issues were raised around education from Chikun precisely, and also by Joshua James. So if I could have the Commissioner for Education respond to that.
Thank you. I heard the complaint, particularly on the some of the primary schools that don't have access to water, access to some sanitary facilities, agreed to some of them. I want to assure you that the way the budget is structured, you will not see that quantum of resources in the Ministry of Education budget. You won't see that fund for construction of toilets, provision of water, because there's a whole, institution established, RUASA, to be able to deal with that. And an estimate of 4.8 billion naira have already been made for them to intervene in that, and that's receiving government attention. There is also the issue of M&E in the Ministry of Education, where you saw an allocation of 10.6 million. That's correct. But again, I also want to assure you that there are many institutions responsible for monitoring of projects in the state. It is not only Ministry of Education that monitor its own project, but there are other institutions responsible. They also have budget for that. The allocation you saw there is an allocation that's inbuilt, that is specifically meant for education to monitor some specific projects. Every project that has a consultant has a component of monitoring built in the project cost. So where that is not done, for the small projects of 5 million, 10 million, 5 million, 10 million, that's why you have this specific budget for it to monitor. So, and from what we've been doing for years, that amount of money is quite adequate to do that, because already other projects, bigger projects, have the monitoring component inbuilt in the project cost. And again, other institutions responsible for ensuring that the project is well done before payment, like the CAD PPE, Ministry of Planning and Budget, and so on, are also having some cost in their own budgets that also help in monitoring and evaluation of project before payment. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Education. Some of the issues raised by the spokesperson from Giwa and that of Chikun is around insecurity, and if there's anyone from that ministry, internal security. Okay, the permanent secretary from Planning and Budget Commission is responding to that. Thank you.
I think if that individual look at the budget of Ministry of Internal Security, we have budgeted enough under that ministry for that purpose. The Ministry of Internal Security has that budget, and we have budgeted enough for that.
Okay, there is a budget line
for that under already. Ministry of Internal Security. He should check the budget is online. Look at the Ministry of Internal Security, and he will find that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The permanent secretary from the Planning and Budget Commission. I understand that Honorable Amina Baloni is ready to comment on health. That is the Honorable Commissioner for Health. Can we?
Good morning. Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Honorable Commissioner, good morning.
Thank you for the questions and thank you for the engagement. In addition to what the Planning and Budget Commission said about nutrition and the funds, I think the line item the speaker was referring to was the one about the counterpart funding, which is there for our nutrition projects, for example, the ANRIN. which we pay a yearly 50 million naira counterpart fund. There's also funds for ready-to-use therapeutic foods. But in addition to that, anywhere you see reproductive, maternal, newborn, child health, and N, which is RMNCH and N, the N stands for nutrition. So the budget for nutrition is streamlined in those funds. Also, we have operational funding from the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Of course, we would like to have more, but we do have quite a lot of diverse funding for nutrition. Also, don't forget that nutrition is not only in health, nutrition is also in agriculture. Nutrition is also affected by what happens in water, water supply and sanitation. So all those are additives that affect nutrition in general. The gentleman from Jama'a made a comment about staffing. As you're aware, from last year, there was recruitment for the primary healthcare staff. This was done in two phases. The first phase of 1,200 plus has been completed, and the staff have been given their letters and are actually reporting now. The Ministry of Health has also done a replacement exercise for about 300 staff. And the second phase of the recruitment of the primary healthcare staff is ongoing, will start soon, and that covers 1,800, above 1,800 staff. We are looking at issues of staff discipline and staff absenteeism, and putting in mechanisms to make sure that that does not continue. In addition, for the health sector, 17 general hospitals have been earmarked as the legacy projects in health. We have started with 3, one in General Hospital Gwantu, General Hospital Rigasa, and General Hospital, Rural Hospital Maigana. This will continue until we get to the 17th. This is a complete upgrade of infrastructure and also equipment, and Jama is also earmarked for that, so it will be coming up quite soon. There was a question online on the primary health, the 255 primary healthcare centers. The first phase of the first 255 are almost complete, like Commissioner Budget and Planning mentioned. We have only 17 outstanding, which are currently being completed by CAD-Pharma because of issues with contractors. I think those were the questions for me. I would like the ES, Primary Healthcare Board, to also add on the 255. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Health. ES, can we have you?
Thank you very much. So in addition, the 255 are the ward health centers, 17 to go now. We have the next level of the health centers, which are the health clinics. We've actually finalized designs. We have approval of His Excellency to start. We've done the selection. What we want to do is to ensure in every ward that we have the center, there are the health clinics, the second level that fit into it. So we have approval now to go with the next 255, and soon we are about to start. Thank you.
Thank you, ES. And still on the interactive session, we would be taking questions now. Those participating virtually, if in case you do not know, you can send us an email to planning.budget@kdsg.gov.ng or via social media platforms on Facebook, the Planning and Budget Commission official pages there. Drop your comment and your question. And also on Twitter, you can also contribute. We have some questions which we'll be looking at the moment, taking 5 of them for a start and getting response, then coming back to take others. The first question here Coming from Usman Ibrahim Omar. Good morning. My question is, during the first tenure, the state government listed some proposed. The state, okay, this is Abdul Ganiyu Nuruddin. Abdul Ganiyu Nuruddin did not indicate where he's sending this from, and going forward, please, we would want to know where you were sending your comment or your question from. He says, hope the governor will lift suspension on the KDSG public service recruitment. I can't wait to be part of the great team to make Kaduna great again. Thank you, Abdul Ganiyu Nuruddin. Can we have the next question? Kamal Kabir. I would like to know and to clearly understand the basic of our government towards ensuring youth and women engagement in Kaduna state governance structure and budget plan ahead of 2021-2023 budget preliminary. Thank you, Kamal. Namse Udosin. I have gone through the budget document. I'm a bit bothered that there is no provision for school plant maintenance as we engage in the urban renewal project for roads and markets. Schools need urban renewal too. Can we have the next question, which would be the fourth question? The same person, Namse Dawson. Can we have some other person, if possible? Awal Aliu Barao, the security of lives and property of our dear citizens in Bernangwari is increasingly deteriorating with little effort from personnel on ground, despite the huge resources that has been invested in the process. Awal, thank you. Manir Hassan. Your Excellency, we have 23 local governments in Kaduna State, but your administration focuses only on the development of 3 major cities of the state. What about other LGAs that contributed a lot of votes looking forward for a better infrastructural development in your administration, sir? And 5 questions so far. We would want to have responses to that. Okay, another one just popped up. Yusuf Goje from Calped. That should be a civil society organization. The CDC is the most structured and credible process of generating community, not individual, prioritized needs, and equally important it is a key performance indicator in the State Action Plan 2028 to 2020 of the OGP. After 2 previous failed attempts by CSOs and Planning and Budget Commission to get the CDC to inform the budget, what guarantee is the government giving to communities that this year's budget will be informed by the CDC, considering it will improve our performance score on the commitment on budget, open budget of the OGP? So if we would start from behind and get a response to this, and this is directly going to the Planning and Budget Commission on the CDC, the Community Development Charter, and ensuring that their concerns will eventually be captured on the budget when it is finally passed into law rather.
We are actually working on that. Even last week we had a meeting, and I'm hoping that in the new year, definitely it is going to be effective. Thank you.
Sir? Okay, thank you. And we also understand that the Deputy Governor will be joining us shortly. So if we can get her queued in as we look at other questions. Now, the one from Manir Hassan. Your Excellency, we have 23 local governments in Kaduna State, but your administration focuses only on the development of 3 major cities of the state. What about other LGAs?
She's online.
Okay, the Deputy Governor is with us at the moment. Your Excellency, good morning. Glad to have you join us. Can we have the Deputy Governor? Okay, as we await the remarks by the Deputy Governor, can we have the questions projected again? If we can get a response to this. I thought this His Excellency is the one that was speaking to the Governor. Okay, she's the one that was. Who's going to answer this? Can we have other questions projected?
We are not actually working on the main cities only. You recall that 5 years ago, there was this contract award to all the local government headquarters for the construction of 10-kilometer road in each local government headquarters. And that is ongoing. We're still working on that. And how about the PACs that we have built in all the local government, in all the wards of the state? How about the schools we are renovating in all the local government and in all the wards? How about the new schools we are building? How about the 6 science schools we are putting on, 2 on each senatorial zone? So you cannot say that we are concentrating on the cities alone. No, we are developing the whole state, and I'm sure that we'll continue in the new year. Thank you.
Can we have other questions? Thank you, Honorable Commissioner.
Okay, the next question on the line is from Manir Hassan, who is asking, I want to ask His Excellency, the Governor of the prestigious Kaduna State, Malam Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai, on why scholarship is not included in the education sector. I think this person has not really looked at the budget properly. We have the Commissioner for Education who will shed more light here.
No, I agree with you absolutely that he has not read the budget very well. This is the first time where you have a government that triple, even quadruple the scholarship of students. We have different types of scholarship schemes now. We have the need-based, we have the the excellence scholarship. We have a lot of provisions. We have over 3 billion allocation to scholarship. Not only scholarship, we have also now introduced a loan scheme for those who want to take up loan and go and do PhD because the 3 billion will not be able to take care of all the applicants because the quantum has increased. No scholarship student receive less than 100,000, unlike before when they are receiving 19, 25,000. So you can, I mean, please, I advise Manir Hassan to go back and read more of the budget. And I also advise him to also go to the website of the scholarship board. You will see the different types of scholarships we have and the different types of loans we have for people to access. Thank you very much.
Furthermore, we have 41 students from Kaduna State flying out of this country come January for various degrees in some universities overseas, costing the state government about $1.5 billion naira in fees, and of course, for their upkeep. That is not a small achievement at all. And you should not also forget that the local governments are on their own, and we are on their budget now, and we are insisting that that ratio of 60-40 should be applicable in the local government, just like it is in the state. Thank you.
Can we have the next question? And I understand we have Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the state, who would be who's standing by to give us the closing remarks.
Good afternoon. Oh, sorry, good morning. Can you hear me?
Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable commissioners and other senior government officials are present at this very important meeting, our esteemed panelists, distinguished participants, and all contributors to this meeting, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who have joined in. Good morning. I'm indeed delighted to thank you all for your participation in this town hall meeting, convened to actually discuss the draft 2021 budget of our state. Since 2015, when we hosted our first budget town hall meeting to discuss our draft 2016 budget, we have institutionalized these consultations as part of our commitment to transparency and openness. I want to use this opportunity to convey the regrets of His Excellency for not being personally here with all of us. He's held up at another meeting in Abuja, but he will receive all your comments, and I'm very sure that this will all be taken into consideration before the draft budget is made available to the State House of Assembly. I want to also use this opportunity to sincerely appreciate every one of you for the comments, the questions, and the suggestions. I know that the Commissioner of Budget and Planning and all the other commissioners that have taken part in this will go back to, consider those suggestions and impute as appropriate before the presentation. As you may have heard, we have in preparing the draft 2021 budget taking into account the economic impact of COVID-19 and the continuing uncertainty it has unleashed. Despite the subsisting dangers from the pandemic, life must continue, and we must strive to manage the situation as best as we can and make progress wherever possible. Therefore, we are proposing a 2021 budget size of 237.52 billion, of which 157.56 billion is capital and 79.96 billion recurrent expenditure. As usual, the draft 2021 budget prioritizes capital spending and upholds our putting people first policy. It seeks to support our abiding commitment to education, to health, and infrastructure development by devoting 63% of the total budget to these sectors. Education and health are the principal components of human capital development investments. Investments in infrastructure are critical to maintaining our competitiveness, supporting our economic dynamism, creating jobs, and promoting the well-being of our people. In 2021, we propose 59.59 billion for education, which is 25% of the total budget, 35.78 billion or 15% on health, and 55.1 billion or 23% on infrastructure. A sum of 124 billion, almost 79% of the capital budget of 157.56 billion is allocated to the economic and social sectors. This preserves the ability to maintain investment levels in education and health while continuing projects in our urban renewal programs. The Kaduna State government looks forward to continued constructive contributions from citizens and civic groups as we continue to work together to make life better for our people. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Balarabe Sabwa. And we had to take that remarks from the Deputy Governor, who has other engagements to do. We go back to other issues on our agenda this moment. Before now, we had questions who were getting answered and also comments being addressed from the Q&A session. We would get back to that now. If we can have the questions projected again.
Well, thank you very much, Dida. The Deputy Governor has given her closing remarks, and to well-meaning citizens, complaints and questions are gifts, and because of our open governance partnership, we in Kaduna are the first state to have this kind of session after the pandemic. It didn't deter us from holding the program. Kaduna State always set the pace and other states follow. So in the light of this, we want to encourage you to keep sending your questions. We'll take good notes of them and we'll do the needful. So we want to thank you once again for the time you have made to have those discussions. In our campaigns, the slogan is putting people first. You will agree with us that Kaduna State is a state that cares for her citizens, and that is why the people are always first in all considerations. We wish you well as we get to the end of the year. God bless Kaduna State, God bless Nigeria, and God bless each and every one of us here. Good health to our governor, our deputy governor, and everybody. Thank you, and thank you once again. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And that was the Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Matters, Honorable Ben Kure. And for those who are participating virtually, we sincerely appreciate your participation as well. Like he said, you can keep on sending your comments and questions to the channels we have on social media and also by mail. The mail is planning.budget@kdsg.gov.ng and via Facebook, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Thank you very much. We would now have the closing prayer and departure, and the prayers would be individually led. So we'd have that for 30 seconds as we get set to depart. The Lord accepts our prayer. Amen. May we please stand for the national anthem. Thank you.
Sorry, I just got a text from the Chief of Staff that the governor will be joining in 10 minutes. So please. Sorry. Okay, let's take maybe one or two questions.
Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, would be joining this meeting in 10 minutes. So would be, in the meantime, looking at some of the questions again, the ones that have not been attended to, so that we get to respond to them. We have a question from Kagarko local government. It says, my question is, in the internal and external grant, what is the state government's provision in counterpart funding, mostly in UBEC, most especially in UBEC? Can we have the Commissioner for Education? Okay, we have the Planning and Budget Commissioner to respond to that.
We always make sure our counterpart fund is paid. We don't have any outstanding at all.
All right, thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Can we have another question projected? From Usman Ibrahim Omar. Good morning, sir. My question is, during the first tenure, the state government listed some proposed road projects, e.g., road from Ambushia through Keke A and B, and would link up to Ongwardosa. But that could not happen due to blockage of the loan by some of the senators. Sir, now, would we access that loan? What about the road? Okay, now that we access that loan, what about the road? Western bypass. When would that happen? Okay, two different questions. Next question. Okay, Commissioner for Works will get to respond to that.
We've taken note, please.
And the next question is, I have viewed the 2021 draft with keen interest, which I must commend the committee that has put in place the 2021 budget. My question to the Honorable Commissioner and our esteemed panelists, to what has the budget has to do for the benefit of the youth? You are investing in education where only few students are awarded scholarship. How does the layman feel the impact of the budget? 3, the fund released for Muslim and Christian pilgrim welfare that is, okay, what is it meant for? And why the difference in the funding?
All concerns have been taken note of and will be addressed appropriately. Thank you.
Can we have the next question? Our next question is, there is a very poor allocation to social and community development projects, even though the Ministry for Rural and Community Development is scrapped. It is also observed that in the past 3 years, there has been zero release to the project. And in 2021, the budget is sliced from 5 billion to about 100 million. Kindly, we would love to know why.
Hello, can I answer that? The community development is under the Ministry of Human Services and Social Development. Okay, the community development is under Ministry of Human Services and Social Development, and there's a budget line for that department. We are responsible for self-help project, and we have identified some of them now, and we're going to work on them to complete those projects, most especially now that we have the special public works from the federal government. So these are the projects we're looking at the community level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Can we have the next question projector?
Well, in closing, I want to crave indulgences and the question that came in respect to Christian-Muslim pilgrimage. Since the inception of this government, it was very, very clear that the government is not funding any pilgrim to either Mecca or Jerusalem. However, individuals are free to sponsor themselves. But when they go on pilgrimage, they are entitled to medical facilities in case any happens to fall sick. So the consulate there attends to them, but the government does not sponsor any pilgrimage. So please let us again have a clear understanding of this. Thank you very much. And we have come to the close of this 2021 budget discussion. We look forward to 2022 by the grace of God. Thank you for your time once again, and God bless you all. Thank you.
May we please stand for the national anthem?
Yeah.